Hello, welcome back to another in-depth weather video. If you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss another in-depth weather video. The fire risk is basically over. There is no more areas in the fire weather outlooks from the Storm Prediction Center. So that is good news. Actually, it might be whatever. The National Weather Service does not have any alerts or outlooks for fire weather. We do have some warnings though in north central California and western Colorado, more specifically the southwest corner. We do have air quality alerts in New Mexico and Colorado. Now, for the central part of the country, I do not know which is air quality alerts and which is dense fog advisories just from this viewpoint, but just know that those dark grays are either air quality alerts or dense fog advisories. Here's the radar. We do have this thunderstorm risk currently ongoing, and that will continue over the next couple days, as well as a risk in the south. We have this rain threat here, and we have our dissipated cutoff low. Now, here is the National Hurricane Center. For 2-day outlooks, there's nothing here. Nothing in the Eastern Pacific, nothing in the Central Pacific, nothing in the Atlantic. Now, things get more interesting when we start to look at the 5-day outlook. Nothing in the Atlantic, nothing in the Central Pacific. The Eastern Pacific does have one disturbance though, which is right here, a 20% chance of cyclone formation in 5 days. So it is showing that a broad area of low pressure may form well south or southwest of the southern coast of Mexico in a few days. Environmental conditions could support some slow development of the system through early next week. So that is our time frame, early next week. It'll move generally westward, well offshore the coast of Mexico. So here's the general direction that it's going to go. So west-northwest is basically the direction trend. Now let's go to our excessive rainfall outlook. Where we do have some marginal risks. That is at 5 to 10% of flash flooding. We have some flash flooding potential associated with that dissipating cutoff low in areas from Pennsylvania all the way into the northeast corner of Georgia. We also have flash flood risk from that severe threat stretching from Wisconsin to eastern Colorado into Texas. Now, let's move on to the Storm Prediction Center so that we can cover those thunderstorms. And here we are, the Storm Prediction Center. We do have slight risk today in areas of Amarillo and Lubbock, Texas, as well as Midland, Texas. We have marginal risks from areas like Denver, Pueblo, Garden City, Liberal, Woodward, Oklahoma City, Norman, Fort Sill, Wichita Falls. Abilene is actually in that slight risk. That's right on the border there. It's really hard to say. Fort Stockton as well in that marginal risk. All these areas in this light green is that general thunderstorm category. Now, general thunderstorm is just, there is going to be potential for thunderstorms, but there's no severe risk. So, I'm not going to read that. If you want to go check this out, this is the Storm Prediction Center. If you want to get there, you just come to the National Weather Service page, weather.gov, scroll down, and right here, thunderstorm tornado outlook. Our risks with this system here, let's actually spread up here. Tornado, less than 2% chance. Wind, 15% chance in that slight risk area. And hail is that same risk. So it's basically the same areas, it's just wind and hail. Really no tornado risk. Now, let's go to the NAM through-kilometer model to show you the weather activities for the next few days. So, let's go right over here. Here is the current outlook, and as you can see, that severe threat will be continuing, and we start to see this buildup in the south, and that'll continue throughout the day today. and we have that slight risk right there. You have multiple directions of those storms all over the central part of the country. You have multiple lines of thunderstorms forming throughout the day. I would not be surprised if some of these get named a derecho. So a derecho is just a long-lasting, quick-moving area with primarily just strong winds and heavy rainfall. There is a very low chance that a derecho forms a tornado. So then that is throughout Friday, and into Saturday, we start to see this low pressure form in the central part of the country. Now this will be moving northeastward, following our flow, and generate some thunderstorm risk, but mostly some rainfall. And then that eventually moves into Canada. Now I do want to go back to the first hour of this model run and go to thermodynamics. Here's our 2 meter shaded air temperature. So today's high temperatures are going to be very warm in the southwest. So the southwest is going to be in those hundreds. You can see multiple spots in the triple digits, primarily in California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. And then you have cooler temperatures in the northwest and the northern plains. In the eastern half of the country, primarily east of the Mississippi River, you will be having those 70s to 90s, some 50s in higher elevations. Higher elevations will be cooler. You can see some 40s in there. So, but another huge talking point right now is that Caribou, Maine was in the 90s today, or at least in the high 80s, and Atlanta, Georgia has not seen one day over 90 degrees. There are areas in Canada that were at 93 degrees earlier today, so that is crazy. Now, let's go to the GFS model, and we can go to our relative humidity. And throughout the day today, we're going to be seeing some humidity in the mid-Atlantic associated with that cutoff low, as well as areas getting that thunderstorm risk. Also some moisture starting to dip into the northwest as well. That'll eventually start to dry off. The western part of the country will get this very dry weather, and the eastern half of the country will be very moist. So that is going to be an oncoming trend where we're going to have this ridging here, and we can actually look at that through our, I guess this one right here. Yes. So here's basically where we can see the jet stream. So let's go back to current. As you can see, we have our jet stream over here. It kind of troughs in the west and ridges in the east. That's why we have that cutoff low. It's called a cutoff low because it's cut off from the normal track of these storms. They will all follow the jet stream, but we have this cutoff low not following the jet stream. And that's why the northeast has been primarily dry over the past week. But that trend will start to shift, and we'll start to see a ridge over the very eastern part of the country, and then eventually we'll start to see some troughing in the central part of the country with some ridging in the west. So there's a big ridge in the west, and then you kind of get a little bit of trough, and then just the general trend is going to be some differing tracks. So it's going to be either ridge or trough in the northwest, same thing in the central plains, but generally just ridging over the northeast for the next couple weeks. That's all I have for today. I hope you guys have a great Friday.